Actually, that's a very good question. And it strikes at the very heart of what the phrase which you may have known, pedagogy. You know, the term, the pedagogy means, the old Greek word which means leading, teaching how to do things. Today the word pedagogy is the art of teaching, if you know, or the science of teaching. What's your name? Ali. Ali's view that actually technology intrudes and probably damages this whole pedagogy that we are used to is a very legitimate and properly held view. Except some people say it is not intruding, it is not interfering, it is actually creating a disruption of the way in which things are being done, and that it gives you now a time to re-examine. Two reasons to answer you, and they are not answers to your question to say you are wrong. But the first question is that first point of learning pedagogy is this: you need to know who your subjects are, who your students, in other words, are. Who are your students? Now, today we use the word the millennials. You're familiar with the term millennials. The millennials are those who were born after 1980. And you're in your classroom today, probably all of them are millennials. And what is the one characteristic about the millennial? Whether they come from India, from Addis Ababa, or from Tierra del Fuego in South America. One survey shows, from Denmark, the survey shows that actually this group of people cannot follow the instructional modes of the past. They don't read. It's not a question of you discouraging them from reading. If you are waiting for them to read, they're not going to do it. They simply are not going to do the reading. So you need to, so the answer is that you need to deal with these people who have grown in a particular diet of technology and to be able to deliver pedagogy, deliver your education to match to how they, that would be the answer to your question. It probably takes away from them the need to develop the old skills. Takes away from them. However, the answer is that there are new skills using technology which can replace those other skills. This, as I say, I'm conscious of the fact because as a teacher, because I'm not talking of someone who is giving you a theory of education, I'm talking of somebody who is teaching. Even with that, you find teaching the new student is difficult. Teaching the new student is difficult. And I think there are reasons outside technology which causes these difficulties. One, I think they don't have the incentive to learn. Right? I think that what is missing in many instances is the motivation. Right? And someone made a distinction here between, motivation and the will to learn. And this is a problem that is faced everywhere else. They talk about deep learning, you're familiar with the phrase, and surface learning. This is a common phrase. I'm not very happy with that, but I'll use this term, this two-level term. What is surface learning? The student comes in, he's got a huge agenda for himself. He's got many things he's got to do. He's got to date, he's got to go and have a good time, and like the new candidate for Chief Justice or the Supreme Court position in America, he says, I drink beer during school days. So students have their own agenda. And because they have their own agenda, you need to find out how do you create in them the new will. And that's probably the challenge. How do you get them to include studying into their agenda? And I don't have an answer.
Can you force them to read books again?
Can you force them to read books again? There's a surface learner, which is what I started to describe. The surface learner, and I've had in my class, even with students in a master's class, Mr. Menon, are those things you're talking about coming out in the exams?
They do the same.
Yeah, they still the same? Yeah.
Yes.
Coming out in the exam, you say, you first get annoyed, how dare you think that I'm only teaching you for your exam, is the first question. So you try with that skill, you try with that response. You're not in this class to pass exams, you're here to learn. So don't ask me that question. He's put down the pen and say, okay, go to your next one. I'm not interested in this class. Obviously, it is not coming out in the exam. I'm not going to study this. So that's what is your typical surface learner is a person who is playing a game with you. Understand the gaming, the gaming method. That is, he'll say, don't worry, the tips will come before the exam. And the seniors have told me, Dr. Ali, don't worry, he'll give you all the questions in the last lecture. Make sure you attend the last lecture. So they'll all come prepared for you in the last lecture. I had an American professor who was known to give tips. So last class we went, he gave us tips and said, I think you can't have an exam without the following questions. So I said, Americans are easy to win. So he went back and studied. None of the questions came up. And we all failed. 80% of us failed. So there is, you've got to understand that the students are coming into the class, they are interested to pass the exam because they think this is the game that they're playing. We need to pass the exam and we're going to pass. Now to change that into the deep learner, to use this special dichotomy. This deep learner is one who wants to say, I want to get into the heart of this. Why am I learning this? What does this do to me? What does this do to my knowledge? What does it change my knowledge? How will I apply this knowledge in the broader area of the subject that I'm studying? And they're constantly looking at ways to understand it, different ways to understand it. That, they say, is deep learning. I don't think you really have to do two things in the classroom. I give this advice very tentatively and very humbly because you are teachers, and to come and tell you what. The first thing I tell you is that spend at least 2 days of your teaching on the art of learning. Tell them about what learning is, and especially in your case, instill into them the responsibility of learning. Not just learning and acquiring knowledge, but reminding them of their responsibility. And in your case, of course, you are medical doctors, you have tremendous responsibility. And if everything else fails, tell them there are the laws of negligence which will put them in jail if they don't pay enough attention. Then, so tell them you've got to take this seriously, because if you touch a patient and you're not fully informed of the current state of medicine at that time, you are going to jail. And tell them, I'm a lawyer, and I know the doctors have gone into jail because the expected standard in medicine, and maybe this is where you start to get them to understand the will to learn, is the expected standard of the doctor is that you are fully informed of the current state of your art, of the current state of your science. You can't say, oh yeah, but I went to Wash University, they really didn't pay much importance to this, so you don't have that. You cannot escape that standard of expectation. So one is that to talk about their responsibility. In your case, you have that. In my law, I can also tell them you're supposed to advise people. But when you talk to a general discipline, like let us say history or geography, and I still say the responsibility of actually acquiring the knowledge is that of the student to understand. So if you can spend 2 or 3 days to tell them what their responsibility is, to also how to study. Very often you find that the student is not studying because he doesn't know how. Right? I'll tell you this from my own daughter and from people who in my own family. They go through these different phases and they don't know what it is to study. So you need to give them The first week, if you can just step by step introduce them to getting the art of learning properly into their head system, that will help. I went into a kindergarten recently. Ms. Lee does monitoring of teachers. We went, and I just went to have a look at it. Little boy was given pictures of various things, and on the other side were words which did not match the descriptions of the pictures. So everybody sat and they were trying to draw the right lines, guessing what the meaning was. This boy goes to the chart which is hanging on the wall and he sees the answer. And he takes it. And the teacher says, oh, you're doing wrong, and he chats him. But that is learning. If you can get them somehow or other into the excitement of learning, then you not. Whether this will happen or not, I cannot guarantee. But if you can do that, spend the first few days, first few weeks of your course into learn, into teaching them how to learn. You're thinking about how to read. You know, before coming here out, I went into the bookshop. I wanted to bring a copy of Gray's Anatomy. This big, you know, the original version. And yeah.
More than 2,000.
Yes. And I thought I'd carry it, except it was very heavy. My weight restriction of 15 kilos, so I didn't bring it. But the book is there.
Yes.
And Grace, and the thing is, unless you read it, I don't know whether you, there's a man called Louis Taylor, who was a doctor, who was also once the Dean of Harvard Medical School. He's written many books on medical science, which makes it interesting, you know, to the layman. Maybe you want to introduce them to the wonders of your subject before you introduce them to the technicalities. I knew a doctor, I knew an engineer who talked about how the great bridges were built before he went into teaching. So inspire them before you get into the detailed knowledge. I'll send you the name of the series of books which Taylor wrote on many things, including, you know, he wrote about many medical subjects in a way in which are very inspiring and that will be useful in as well. But that's all I can't tell you much more than that.